Rogue logic. This is the way.
Oh, oh, damn. I thought I had it together, but I thought I was ready. All right.
You do know we're on air right now.
We're what? Oh, why didn't you tell me?
Pull it together.
Give me a moment to contain my emotions again. All right, I've milked that for all it's worth. No, I'm not crying over Tucker Carlson being gone. Welcome to Rogue Logic, everyone. It's Wednesday, a couple days after that big news of losing Tucker Carlson from Fox, as well as Don Lemon from CNN. What I wanted to follow up with today has changed just a little bit. A very good friend of mine has actually turned me on to a TikTok personality, Steve Schmidt, and I'm going to put a link below, and I will probably put a picture up here of him, and he basically talks about how we're going to save democracy. And something that I found very, very compelling with what he said is that in the latest video that I will post, that is something that I think about and talk about excuse me, all the time. I'm sorry. And that is the binary system, the two-party system, the back and forth between always two choices, and this just breeds the tribalism to new levels of people thinking that that's all there is, are two choices. And it's so frustrating to see, especially right now in our country, where it's caused such divisive behavior, and it just shouldn't be that way. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what his point was, is that the American people, I would say he's correct, and I would definitely agree with him, in an overwhelming majority, do not want to pick between Joe Biden, President Biden, and Donald Trump. Now, I've made the point, which is not, it's not exactly valid, but it's a point that we can all think about sometime, and that's, we live in a country with 360 plus million people. So obviously they're not all qualified, and they're not all the right age, and okay. But you have a pool of many millions of people who could be the next president. And we get the same old thing as we always get. Number one, we cannot have an independent third party or fourth or fifth or so on that is viable. So you can make a stand and you can vote for someone in one of those parties, and it doesn't do anything. I mean, you're detracting from the person that you consider the lesser of two evils. And with that, I did want to say that that is the problem that we've been having for years now. No, that's not consistently. I mean, there were presidential elections where I voted for and was very happy with the candidate. But mostly it comes down to, okay, this person is totally opposite of what I believe in, and this person is what they have to offer. So what can we do about that? Well, as I always say, we have to get involved, but I will say this on this subject: when you're talking about corporations, billionaires, and huge PACs that back these candidates, it's pretty hard to fight against that. I don't know exactly how you would go about doing that. And let's think about the two people here who we're talking about. Now, I was going to go through several examples, but I think instead I will put links down below, and most of these have been heard before, so I don't feel that I really need to say a lot about each one. But I'm gonna pick two of the brightest examples of the two candidates. Okay, so number one. During the beginning of the coronavirus COVID-19 outbreak. All right, welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay. So after fact checking exactly what was said, no, Big Donnie didn't come out and say inject bleach into your bloodstream, but he still suggested that one possibility could be getting disinfectants and injecting them inside of your body. Now, I mean, this is bothersome on many levels, because this doesn't take. I'm not a scientist. I know what would happen if you did that, and the fact that he doesn't should be alarming to people. Okay, that should bother you. So I'm either going to put the exact statement he made up here, or maybe I'll run the video and put that in here for a moment. So, all right, we're going to go back and forth with just two examples of each. Now, Biden, on the other hand, during one of his speeches, which again, I will put the comments up here, he referred to, and I believe he's done this more than once, as Kamala Harris as President Harris. So, again, it doesn't look that good. Now, is that a slip of the tongue? Sure. I mean, we all do these things. I have found myself doing it at times. I've seen many people I know of all ages. You can make a mistake, but I think he did this one more than once, and, it doesn't look good. Okay, so now back to Mr. Donnie. He was asked in an interview, again, I'm going to put the text up here, about his generals. All right. Now, he was not able, I mean, it was obvious what he was doing. He was completely trying to use misdirection, because he had no idea who any of his generals were. Now, that again, that should cause you some kind of pause, where you would say, wow, the president doesn't know who the Joint Chiefs of Staff and then the military leaders are in his own administration. So that's a problem.
It's freaking insane.
Exactly. It's frightening. So there's that. And then I'm going to say this is one of the worst ones. Now, I'm going to pause for a moment. All right. Sorry for the slight delay. So yes, during a speech that Biden was giving, he referenced and then started asking in the audience where Jackie was. And who he's speaking about was Indiana Republican Representative Jackie Warlorski, and she had been killed in a car accident weeks before, which he was well aware of. Now, again, this does not look good, and it certainly doesn't help sell your credibility. But again, the way that I've seen things handled is that you go over the time that Trump spent in office and Biden, and it's constantly, from what I see, at least in where I live, and it's Biden's done this and Biden's done that, as far as, we're talking about the angle of being not fit, in the sense that he either has dementia or he has Alzheimer's or whatever. And yet, all of the insanity that Trump comes up with, people either think it's funny, or he just doesn't seem to be ridiculed in the same way, except by the far, far left. And I just find that amazing, because of his outlandish ideas that don't make any sense. And you got to wonder, does he think these things, or is it part of the grift? So either way, that's all I really had to say. You can look up. I will put a couple good links that show their top screw ups over the years. So there it is. So unless there's some type of radical change that happens in the next few months, which there isn't going to be, we're going to be looking at that exactly from what it looks like right now. Now, I would love to think that is incorrect. I would hope that isn't the case, that it's a Trump versus Biden. Aside from the fact that one of the people we're talking about here tried to overthrow the U.S. government because he perpetuated a lie that he didn't lose the election when he did, and there's no evidence of it, and we all know it, and it's been proven. Then we also have, the issue of Joe Biden's age, President Biden's age, and another really kind of not so great thing is there seems to be friction between himself and his vice president, Kamala Harris. Now, I was not exactly thrilled with Kamala Harris in the beginning of Joe Biden running because of some of her policies, which you can look up about her prosecution background and really nailing some people to the wall that if I remember correctly, I'll try to look this up, but I don't want to go off topic here.
I didn't need to remind you. Amazing.
For once I'm stopping myself from doing that. But, then I remember when everyone was running, when she was running, Cory Booker was running, who I thought was I really think highly of him. And, but in any case, I don't believe he has aspirations right now of running again in 2024. And then when I saw her speak, I was like, well, okay, she's got something here. And then ever since Biden was elected, she's been the, like some vice presidents, she's been the invisible vice president. She just doesn't, I'm sure she does things. I'm sure she's busy, but something seems to be wrong here. And I did look up an article, which if I can find it again, everything's shut down here. So I'll put that in the comments below. But there's definitely been an issue between President Biden and Vice President Harris because it seems that she has been given, in her opinion, an overwhelming amount of tasks to accomplish that seem to be beyond her ability. And then, on the other hand, I think there are some policy differences that have not been worked out between them. So you go into this race and you have a very weak potential for, basically what I'm getting at here is the thought of the criminal getting his way back into office and then basically being able to negate everything that he needs to be held account for is that would be the end. I mean, we almost saw the end of our democracy. We almost saw it. I know a lot of you don't agree with me, but we did. And that will be the end. I mean, that's going to bring into effect, you can see
Donnie.
He's
time to pay up.
I mean, he's practically, he's frightened. He's like a caged animal put in a corner where he knows that it's coming for him. He knows that it's finally catching up. A lifetime of bigotry, a lifetime of criminal behavior, of being a mob thug, of scamming people, and he knows it's coming. I mean, people are tired of it. So you get a man like that back in the White House, and sometimes I get the idea that some Americans, I don't know how you couldn't be so tired of this nonsense. I think they think it's funny. I sit there and wonder, how is it that you're not alarmed by this, and yet it seems that they aren't. So back to a quick note before I forget again. When it comes down to those two choices, a narcissistic, sociopathic grifter who attempted a coup against our democratic republic, our constitutional republic, tried to take power when he knew he had lost, or an establishment aging Democrat who is, a corporate owned, run of the mill, this is what we've got. And he's, done some good things, I agree with. But yes, I'm going to go with Biden over Trump, of course. I mean, it doesn't even seem to make sense to me that there are people who would think otherwise unless you are a Christian nationalist lunatic or a cult member. So, I mean, just to get my point hit home all the way, I would vote for Hillary Clinton before Trump. She won't run. I would vote for FDR over Trump. He's dead. I would vote for Scooby-Doo over Trump. He's not real. Let's see. I would vote for Rowan Atkinson over Trump. He's not an American citizen. He can't run. But man, I think he's funny as hell, and I think it'd be really a great experiment. I think he's a good guy too, but that's irrelevant. And then, finally, I'd vote for Shirley MacLaine over Trump. She's not completely sane, I don't think. But, and I'm not, just so everybody knows, I'm just joking around here. I'm not saying anything about her. Just maybe her spirit guides could help us through this nightmarish world we're living in. So, at any rate, to sum up, one thing that has annoyed me, and I will admit this, I don't know if he could have won, but this idea that in 2016 and 2015, Bernie's too radical. Bernie can't, no, he'll never win. He can't do it. You got to run, someone who's the establishment. Well, how do you get more radical than I'm not going to repeat all this. You know what I'm saying. You can't be more radical than Trump is someone who loves dictators, sides with Putin over his own intelligence community, basically has been in bed with the mob and everyone else for that matter for his whole life, and it's just insane, and the coup. I mean, that's more than anything. Okay, so Bernie was too radical for everybody. Well, Bernie, whether you agree with him or not, or any of his policies, at least he's a decent man. This is the part that gets me. I don't understand. Well, Trump's a businessman. He's gone bankrupt several times. I mean, he's not a good businessman. I mean, he's a good grifter. So, okay, Bernie was too extreme, and now I don't know. Has Bernie still got enough energy to go forward? He's aged over these last 6 years as well. I don't know. I would vote for him, but I don't know what his political aspirations are right now. Maybe he's doing the best he can do as being Senator Sanders. Now, then AOC. I know Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. People would go, "Are you crazy?" And, obviously she's a progressive. So do I agree with a lot of the things she has to say? Sure. I looked it up. She's currently 33 years old. By the time she would actually be signed into being president, she would be 35, which is the minimum age to be president in the United States. Does she have the experience? Maybe not. I don't know. So there you go. Now I'm searching here. I would love to hear in the comments below if who do we have? Is the issue that too many decent people don't want to get into politics? I mean, I'll tell you what, when I emerged from the dark pathway that I was on when I was quite ill, and the first operation had not been a success, and I was, given a short amount of time for my likely survival. After I got through that and then realized that I was going to get a second opportunity here, I thought very hard. I went to, I have a couple friends who are in politics, and, I started thinking about it. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. After I really thought hard about what I would have to do and what type of person I am, and basically I used critical thinking and logic here, I don't know that I would fit into that world. I really don't. I think I'm doing much better with what I'm doing right here and reaching out to people, and I think I can do that better with things that I know. I don't have a background in political science, although I find that doesn't always mean anything. But my point being is, even I thought about it, and then I looked at, this I'll scratch your back if you'll scratch mine, and kowtowing to people. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that. So see, I know that that's not really my area of expertise. Now, could that change? Sure. I don't know. Maybe down the road I'll think, I've got to get involved to that point. But right now, I'd love to hear some people's comments. Please put them down below. Who should run? Should an actor run? Should who? Who have we got here? Is there a businessman out there that isn't a grifter, who isn't in it for their own purpose, their own self, grand. Anyway, I'm going to stop there because I'm going to start rambling. I'm getting a little over time here, and let's hope that we see what happens in 2024, and I hope that we still have our democracy in place. So with that being said, actually, no, I'm almost done now. No, I'm going to go back to my original point, and this will be short. The two things that I wanted to say to follow up about Tucker Carlson's not permanent, his temporary replacements. So the first one that we have here was... what's his name? Wow, that's how forgettable he is. I'm not even doing that as a dig. I can't remember. Hold on one second. All right, sorry about that again. Okay, so that was Brian Kilmeade, who's filling in for Trump, or for Tucker's time slot right now. So, he has all the checks and balances for a typical Fox News commentator. He's worth $27 million or so net worth. He's written several books, and he has the basic stuff that they usually have. His brand of bigotry and racism was pretty heavy against Islam and against Muslims. You can look him up, and I'll put a link down below to just his probably Wikipedia page, just to start out with. You can always start there and go forward. Like one of his best, I think one of his greatest hits here: we keep marrying other species and other ethnics. Now, I don't really need to say a lot more than that. And he basically went on to praise the countries in the upper part of Europe, as far as Finland and Sweden and Switzerland and things, because they mostly, in his words, they mostly keep their society intact. I mean, this is just thinly veiled, kind of Nazi-ish, keeping the races pure. So there's that. And then the other big one from him was his his support for the English Defense League, which is a very radical anti-Muslim British based organization, which I'll put a link to them down below too. So anyway, Brian Kilmeade, I don't see him taking over as for any long period of time, because he's just basically, he's not flashy enough. I mean, yes, he's got the bigotry, he's got the, the normal talking points, but to be fair, I will say this. Now, in an interview that he had over the phone with Trump, and this was, I think, during the midterm elections, he had his nose so far up Trump's ass that I don't even know how he was breathing. I'm surprised he survived. But, he was going on about how dare they and why are they asking you these things. So he was definitely big time on the Trump support. But I do have to give him this. Now, this might have been only self-preservation. This just may be for his own self-interest. But just to be fair, in January of 2022, so that's going back all the way last year, he did get critical of Trump. And he basically said, Trump needs to learn to lose. That's a quote. And he said he had not seen any proof that the 2020 election was stolen. Okay, so at least he acknowledged the reality of things. And he also said to other Republicans, get past questioning election results and stop calling the media anti-Trump for accurately pointing out the false election conspiracy. So, maybe he actually, in some level of backbone in there somewhere, if he had any.
You're not serious, really?
Yeah, I doubt it too, but I'm just gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe since he is, in his own mind at least, he thinks he's a news person, maybe he didn't want it anymore. Maybe he was like, hey, I've got too much flack from this. So there's that. And then my very last point, right there, I almost knocked that over, is Jesse Waters. Now, this guy, I would hope not, but you go in a succession of assholes. You had Bill O'Reilly, which I covered that in the last video. So, I mean, asshole extraordinaire. And then, what I think of Tucker Carlson. But I see Jesse Waters has made enough statements that he, with that smug grin on his face, he's such the guy just, he just looks like he wants, okay, you know what? I can't stand him. But the point being is he tries to be clever when he isn't. I mean, his level of what he thinks is funny. In fact, one of his, now that I thought of the example I was trying to think of, he thought it was a great thing that I believe his now wife, in order to make sure that he was able to drive her home when or go on a date with her, he let the air out of her tires. Okay, dude, you are a creep. You are a stalker. Okay, weirdo.
That slimy ultra creepazoid.
Yeah, I mean, it's not romantic. I don't, not any way you look at it. Now, if someone had come and slashed her tires or something and you came to her rescue, that's how that works, Jesse. You don't do it yourself. And then you brag about it on live television. So with him, yeah, I would hate to see it, but I could see him maybe stepping up to Tucker's time slot, because he's trying to be that kind of an ass. And boy, he's an overachiever. So that's all I'm going to say without, going on anymore today. I wish everybody has a great Wednesday night and great Wednesday afternoon. Enjoy your week. Let's make sure that we are kind to one another whenever we can be, which is almost all the time. Always be kind to animals, and peace.
You're one to bust on Shirley MacLaine. You talk to me all the time.
I can't really argue with that. I mean, there it is. Well, so be it. I guess Shirley and I both talk to the spirits.
I still never said I was a spirit.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. To be determined, I guess. To be determined.